It's time for today's travel and cruise industry news. With the latest from travel and cruises around the world, here's your host, Chili Falls.
Hey, good morning and welcome to Travel and Cruise Industry News Podcast. Coming to you from, where are we? We're in Portugal, in Lisbon, Portugal. Wow, what a hot air Tom's waving in the background. What a wild and woolly day it's been. We got a lot of stuff to cover this morning, a lot of things to show you about what went on today. But first, before we get to any of that, let's take care of our special guest this morning. Some of you may have seen that I went off the deep end a little bit on Norwegian with their refusal to pay or give us a refund on our taxes and port charges for Ponte Delgata that was canceled due to weather. The background behind it is the last 5 times that I've had ports canceled with Norwegian, we got our money back on all of them, and they are refusing to give it back this time. There's some reasons which we'll get into. I have gone up the ladder as far as I can go here on the ship. I have not filed the charges with the shore folks yet, but because I was busy all day today out running around Lisbon, which we'll get to later. In the meantime, I took the issue to my friend Nate, and he said, let's get together. I'll come on the show and tell you what I know about what's going on with Norwegian and other cruise lines. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to talk to Nate here in a second. Now, welcome to Monday's Travel and Cruise Industry News Podcast. This is the 13th day of January, coming to you from Lisbon, Portugal. The show is brought to you by Will US, the owner of Scoot Around, and by Chili's Cruises. Like I say, live from Portugal. All right, the headlines today: Norwegian refuses to refund canceled port fees and taxes. Of course, is the main headline. Also today, we're going to get to stories on Norwegian Waives cancellation fees for fire victims. They screwed us, but did something right there. No breakfast for Guy's Burger Joint. Itinerary change conflicts with Super Bowl. Norwegian propulsion issues. Liberty of the Seas rescue, and lots more here live at 11 o'clock this morning. Today's National Oysters Rockefeller Day. I can live with that. I like Oysters Rockefeller. All right. If you're listening via the podcast, welcome aboard. You can always get your podcast via my blog, which is accessadventure.net, or wherever you get your podcast from. Just search for Travel and Cruise Industry News, and out pops the Fat Travel Guy. All right, so with no further ado, he needs no introduction on this channel. So here's my buddy, Nate Vallier. Hey, we do have a special guest this morning, folks. And again, who knows how the Wi-Fi is going to work, but so far so good. Most of you know that I've gone off the deep edge on this whole business of Norwegian refusing to refund the taxes and port charges. And one of the things I did was send a message to my buddy Nate to see what he thought about the whole situation. So with no further ado, he's back to visit on the show again. So let me bring in Nate Vallier. Nate, welcome back to the Travel and Cruise Industry Podcast. There, Tom is clapping in the background.
Hey, Chili. Hey, Tom.
All right. So no money, so says Norwegian.
Right.
I think it's even might borderline being fraudulent. Tell me what you think from the inside perspective.
So anytime you book a cruise, they always have this little line, subject to additional taxes and fees and whatever. And like the California law that took effect in August was you got to see the whole price in. Whereas before, and it's affected all of us, whereas before you'd say, hey, cruise for $199 to the Bahamas, and then you forget that there's $200 in fees and stuff, and it now becomes, $500. So now they have this new law in California that's affected all of us, where you have to have the price disclosed when you book. And the taxes and fees has been something I've been chasing personally for a long time, because the cruise lines aren't like the airlines, where when you book a ticket on, let's say, Alaska Airlines or American or Delta, if you click on that little text that says taxes and fees, it'll give you a breakdown. It'll say, hey, your 560 TSA fee, 420 ZP air segment fee, 7.5% federal excise tax, airport PFC's passenger facility charges. It might say $4.50 Atlanta, $5 Fort Lauderdale. You see what you're paying for, and you know exactly, okay, I'm paying $80 in taxes to fly to Canada. Here's the breakdown. But on a cruise, it's a mystery. We don't really see that, and it became very obvious that what's happening is the cruise ports will charge fees to utilize that port, whether it's like a docking fee, a berthing fee, security fees, longshoremen, marine policing, all that stuff. So it's expensive to put to pull into a port. And so what I think is happening is the cruise lines have figured out that instead of making that as a line item expense for the cruise, knowing, hey, if we're going to dock in Nassau, it's going to be $18,000, for example. What I believe they're doing is they're taking that $18,000 plus the normal passenger fees, which might be $20, rolling it all together and adding it as a fee that we pay when we book a cruise. Case in point, when MSC started Alaska, I was floored to see that the taxes were only $150 for a 7-day sailing out of Seattle, but yet exact same cruise on Carnival is $312. And so I think what's happening is they are literally, MSCs just either they haven't figured it out yet, or they're leaving money on the table. But what I believe is happening is like Carnival has figured out that, hey, these fees for docking in Seattle at Pier 91, or I guess they're 66, or what, I forgot what pier they use in Seattle. I think it's 91. The fees to use that, they add in and charge it to the consumer rather than making it a cost of doing business. And so when a cruise skips a port, typically they will give you back, well, again, in the past, they would always refund you taxes and fees, which would be anywhere from $25 to $50. Sometimes we give you an onboard credit. And a disturbing trend we saw in Alaska this last summer was very few people were getting compensation when the winds are too high in Skagway and the cruise ship couldn't dock. People weren't getting anything when they couldn't dock in Juneau or Ketchikan. I only saw people getting compensation when they were skipping 2 ports. And even then, it wasn't cash back. It was like an onboard credit, like, oh, I'm so sorry, you're stuck on the ship. Hey, here's some money to go spend in the casino. And then when I've personally been on ships where we skip like Princess K's, I've never been there. I've tried. I've been on 3 Princess and Hall America cruises, and we've never made it due to the weather in the Bahamas. Weather is too windy, the waves are too high. We never got anything back. I believe on Caribbean Princess last year we got like $25 credit, but we never actually got money. The last time we got money back was actually on Celebrity. When we skipped the Azores, we got like $50-some back, and we didn't ask for it, which is nice. So what I think's happening is a race to the bottom in terms of the cruise lines, because the demand is so big. The ships are getting bigger, more people are cruising, more people are doing repeat cruises, and they no longer have to try as hard. They no longer have to be as customer focused and driven like they used to. And just as you are aware of my own issues with Norwegian, I think that they're now accepting that it's okay to make people mad and possibly lose them. And they made a business decision to do that. So I believe what's happening is, because we don't have an accounting of like what you pay for, like on your cruise, whether it's Bermuda, Nassau, Punta Delgata, all these different ports and stuff. Until someone lifts that bill, charge a tax and a fee, you got to break that out. I think that the cruise lines are going to just decide to just say, hey, you skipped a port, sorry. But I think that's the new future. Getting compensation out of the cruise lines is hard. Norwegians, that's one reason why I walked away from them. As a travel agent, if I can't, I will take your money and book a trip gladly. But I need to service that. If something happens, I need to be able to help you and be able to fix it. And the fact that Norwegian makes it damn near impossible, I can't do it. So that's why I've walked away from Norwegian. I'm wearing my celebrity visor again just because I do like them. Case in point, Celebrity had an issue with one of my clients where they did not get picked up at the airport for a shuttle in Sydney. They were told to go stand here. They did. They waited. They missed the bus. Without even asking, they refunded the guy's transfers, put him in a taxi, upgraded his refund transfers to a free taxi. When I emailed my sales rep or my inside folks at Celebrity, it says, hey, this happened to my guy. What can we do? Got $100 on board credit. I didn't even have to get feisty or mad. I just said, hey, this guy did what he was told to do, and he got compensation. Whereas with Norwegian, their app, where a client had priced out the thermal spa on a transatlantic cruise, she didn't buy it. She left it in her cart. Somehow they ended up on her cruise reservation as a purchase. It also added prepaid gratuities, so they blame me for that, saying, oh, travel agent added it. Well, no, I didn't. I'm on board, by the way. It took 5 days to fix that. We then had no hot water on Encore for a day. The ship told the shoreside people it was only 2 hours. So then Norwegian came back and said, well, you're lying. I'm like, well, look at my Facebook live feed. And I have hot water for a day on my deck. And I said, you guys aren't being very honest with you. And I think that what's happening is the cruise lines are diverting, I don't want to say compensation, but responsibility where they can to avoid it. And so I think that unfortunately with what's happening on your cruise, it's the same thing. The financial manager, financial officer decided that no one's getting anything. And that's that for the ship. That's why they're telling you to contact shoreside. Is you're going to file a complaint. It's going to go to a lady named Katie Bird, who's the VP of Guest Relations. So it'll go to her office, and you'll be lucky to get a $25 on board credit. But I think that's what's happening. I think the cruise lines are realizing whether you're Princess, MSC, Celebrity, Carnival, Roku. I mean, I think they're all discovering what our tolerance level is, and just kind of, I hate to say it, giving us the finger, but yeah, there's a they're trying to put up with a lot. So yeah, so that one, it's reversed for the people who are watching it, but
sorry.
No, it's okay. So like if one of our clients is on this cruise and we have an issue, we go online and fill out a form, and 9 times out of 10 we never hear back. It just goes into a hole. And I think that JJ Cruises, another YouTube channel, they even talked about this and even highlighted one of my posts saying, hey, we can't help people in Norwegian. I hate to say it, but I think that's the direction everybody's going. I think that with the fact that cruising has just gotten so big, the demand is just unbelievable, that they are going to just say, hey, we used to give you compensation for this, but no more. They're changing their contract to carriage for their terms and conditions to now say, and I think we talked about this a couple of years ago, that they're no longer guaranteeing ports now. So when you're buying, when you pick an itinerary, and I think that we're going to be in for a ride in the night, especially if you've been cruising a lot and things happen.
All right. Is it worth me contacting these people in Miami with a little number I've got for a claim and file requesting, a refund or whatever?
They won't give you money back. Like, they'll at least give you they should at least give you some kind of onboard credit, because if you're skipping the Azores, you did in fact pay some taxes and fees. Whether or not they're legally obliged to return that to you is a big question mark. Based on the laws as written in America right now, if this were an American flagship, an American corporation, yes, they'd have to refund that. Because all these cruise lines are technically foreign-owned, foreign flagged, that it's going to be depending on how nice you are to these folks. I've been asked to get on a call with Ensemble and Travel Edge, our consortia as a travel agent, with Norwegian. I'm hesitant because I don't know where it's going to go. To talk about this exact issue, which is, how do we take care of our guests or our clients when something happens on a ship, especially if they get nothing. I go back to my MSC. I think it was Seascape. When we had the hurricane or the tropical storm coming. Right as we leave Miami, like, hey, we're not going to get a Grand Cayman and Cozumel and all these places. I wanted to go scuba diving. We didn't get any onboard credit back, but what we did get was a deviation to other ports, and we didn't have to pay anything extra. And it was okay. I like how they handled it, and we did get some onboard credit. I think it was like $50 or something, because it was Jamaica, Grand Cayman, Cozumel, and then Ocean Key. So I think that in that regards, people were upset, and they did individual compensation as far as I know. But I think that with whether you want to call it climate change, planetary evolution, things are changing around the world. Just like Great Stirrup Key, I saw that, some of your audience who I've become friends with made it in. I'm like, hallelujah. It's like, wow, I haven't been to Great Stirrup Key in years. Congratulations. They had the same thing. I think that what's going to happen is, we're just going to be getting less and less. And the cruise lines are going to point and say, hey, look at the rate you paid. You only paid $800 when it should have been $2,000, for example. Mm-hmm. So in regards to this, I do highly encourage your readers, or listeners, as stuff happens, document it. Be vigilant. Being nice doesn't help. I was nice on Norwegian Encore for 5 days until I blew my lid, and that was after That was after guest services blamed me for that, the error on the app. It wasn't until I was like literally yelling at the top of my lungs at guest services, how do you blame this on a travel agent when I'm right here? It wasn't until that happened that I actually got some movement. So I'm not telling your audience to go out and become a Karen, but it's quickly.
Well, my history on this very issue goes back to the Joy, which that was in spring of 23, I believe it was. And we had a cancellation. I don't even remember what port it was now, but we canceled out of a port. And their decision was that if you come to guest services and ask for the refund, we'll give it to you. Mm-hmm. If you don't come to guest service and ask for it, we're not going to give it back.
And who wants to stand alone for 3 hours?
Man, that doesn't sound legitimate.
No. And who wants to stand alone for 3 hours,
Yeah. After that, I did 4 ports in a row that it was automatic. And I thought, okay, we fixed the issue. Mm-hmm. They're doing it right now until this one.
Yeah. As far as I know, the decision to do compensation comes from the finance manager on the ship, the hotel director, guest services director. They take a lot into consideration on the ship, and a lot of it does come down to money. I believe that even the captain may have a say every now and then. So if you do get to bump into him, say, hey, captain, I don't agree with this. This is what your staff is telling us. That might even be a good option for people. Sorry, folks. I went outside because I can't get good lighting inside, and it's sunny out here in Florida. So we had.
By the way, folks, if you haven't figured it out by now, Nate's not in Alaska.
No. It's crappy weather there. I feel bad for everyone in the middle of the country who's dealing with ice. We got the fires in California and everything. When we're in that 30-degree, 35-degree rotation in Alaska, I just don't like to be there. But I think that, as industry changes, we have to lower expectations. I hate to say that. Like even on Norwegian on Encore, they did a literal change on our ship from 2 services a day to 1, and it was noticeable. It's weird that now I'm on MSC Divina. I'm in between cruises right now, and I get a steward in the morning and at night. And allegedly MSC is the ghetto cruise line, but yet I'm getting better service on MSC than Norwegian. I think that with Norwegian, they got a good product. I like the ships. I hate some of the changes personally, being a fat boy. I hate the fact we're losing Moderno. I don't like the fact that the local or Sheehan's now isn't 24 hours a day. I love the solos option for a lot of our folks. I think that's great. But as the business changes and evolves, I think that we're just going to start to, we need to be more vigilant with this stuff, especially when it comes to compensation. If you really have an expectation of, I really want to go see these ports, and this is why I chose your cruise, I think you need to make that clear to that person.
Right.
As a former airline guy working at the counter, I will tell you, more open to compensation when people are nice about it. When you get mean, it just kind of tunes you out. But it seems like some of these folks are immune to being mean and nice now, and you just kind of got to roll the dice. I would be very frustrated in your shoes, to be honest, especially if they said you don't get anything, and to pawn you off on the shore side, because shore side's going to, their ability to help is going to be even more difficult. But I do think that unfortunately that is the future of cruising, is we are going to see less and less compensation when things happen. We're now seeing it when they cancel advanced cruises. I guess they did a big shakeup. A couple of cruise lines are doing shakeups in 2026, and people are getting nothing. Like, oh, hey, here's a 10% future cruise credit. Whereas during COVID, it was completely different. During COVID, it was like, hey, here's a refund, and here's 50% future cruise credit. Here's this, here's that. I think those days are gone. I think those days are over.
Yeah. All right, Mr. Nate. Thank you, as always, for your time and your wisdom.
Yep.
And I'm going to just keep fighting and excuse my French, folks, bitching about this issue. Hot air Tom says keep swinging.
Yep.
All right, Nate, stay warm.
All right, we are. All right, see you, Chili.
I hope to get some of that weather over here.
I'll send you pictures.
Guys, I'm off to Lisbon. I'll be in Lisbon today. See y'all. Thanks, Nate. All right, I froze up there at the end, Piers. I did notice while the interview was playing there, folks, so you'll know, it was cold this morning when we got off the ship. It was in the 40s. So I had a hat on all day. I had my JJ Cruise hat on all day. So I got a hell of a case of hat hair because I showered, had clean hair this morning, and it's just everywhere. So, all right. So I do appreciate Nate always with his thoughts about things, and on the inside knows a lot more about that than I do. But anyway, so I'll continue the fight. And again, for me, folks, it's a principle. It's a principle that Norwegian should take care of their customers better by giving the stupid refund back, no matter what the case. My understanding is, Tom's bringing me a Diet Coke. Thank you, hot air Tom. My understanding is that Ponte Delgata requires the cruise lines to pay up front, and then they weathered out, and they don't refund the money back to the cruise line. So the cruise line saying, oh, well, we're not going to get screwed. We'll just screw the customer. So it doesn't necessarily have to be that way, because Norwegian can turn around and do something right, which I'm going to get to when I get back to news. But first, I want to go over some other things with you. Last night, Hot Air Tom and Bonnie and I went to the Bistro, which, of course, is an awesome French restaurant. I had some escargot. And then one of the cool things was I also had mushroom soup. If you know, oh, where did the clip go? There it is. Yes.
So you got the male salad. He's on Viagra too. She's not smiling.
Serious.
Thank you. Needless to say, that was mushrooms in the bottom of the bowl, and then they pour the soup in right at the table, and it was just absolutely delicious. I'm trying to get back up there. We'll give her the escargot. And then, of course, I had a filet. And it doesn't show real clear. It was dark in there, so the pictures aren't real good. The filet was just to die for. It's, some people say that the bistro's filet is better than the steakhouse filet. I don't know, I like them both. But then this is potato and leeks, and I don't know, but it was sort of like a baked potato with extra stuff. I mean, it was good too. And then dessert, we had some kind of crazy strawberry thing, and that didn't load, so we're not going to worry about that. Or maybe it's on down here. Okay, so that was the fat guy at dinner. I mean, I lost connection to my camera. Of course not. That's the fat guy at dinner. And let's see, that would be Hot Air Tom and Bonnie. And then that's a picture of the three of us for posterity. Yes, I did dress up with a sport coat and a real shirt, as much as I hate doing those kind of things. I did that last night in deference to the French folks. Okay, so let's see where we are here this morning. Today, what's this? Wow, you're talking about, I'm tired, folks, I have to tell you. Anyway, today, Roger, that's what I couldn't get out. Roger and I arranged an accessible transportation and went to the Gulbenkian Museum in Lisbon. Again, I'll offer some special thanks to Chrissy Durso of Incredible Memories Travel, who put me on to these folks, to Susanna Cruz of Portugal's Tourist for All office, for their assistance in making this a reality for me and for Roger. And then our driver was another Susanna, who was just awesome. So the pickup for the tour was, the museum opens at 10. So we said, okay, 9:15 to 9:30-ish. So we got off the ship just about right, and she was there. So we had to walk down past some of the tour buses. I say walk, I rode. Roger walked back down past a couple tour buses. And, okay, that picture didn't load. Yeah, maybe it didn't. Yeah, there we go. So that was the lift. And I just rolled the chair right up on the lift, and it lifted it up, and I rolled into the van. Roger could actually step up the steps, which he did going. Coming back, he rode the lift down, which she had no problem with that. And then we rolled across town. It was a lot further, and it would have been virtually impossible with, Lisbon's the city of 7 hills. So it would have been impossible for me to get there in the chair. Roger and I are on our way to the Gulbenkian Museum. I probably said that wrong. In Lisbon, Portugal. We arranged a accessible transportation from Tourism for All, and we are on our way to the museum. Exciting day for me. All right, I'm at the Gulbenkian Museum in Portugal, in Lisbon, and we're getting ready to go explore. I'm really excited. Awesome, accessible transportation to get here. That was just great. Wonderful driver. Looking forward to spending some time with Roger inside. We'll see what happens later. Now, folks, I didn't have time to upload a lot of pictures because I don't know if you know the story about this guy. He was a he was a big time oil man, but a middleman. He would put the people with money together with the people with the oil, and he took 5%. So he was known as Mr. 5%. At the time, probably 20, 25 years, he was the richest man in the world. But he was always a lover of the art. He started collecting art at a very young age. The museum itself is one of the top 5 small museums in the country. I mean, this isn't a MoMA. This isn't the Louvre. It's not that big, but it's outstanding. He's got a coin collection of over 1,000 coins from Roman era. Only these coins are like, we call them in our coin collecting in the United States uncirculated, close to 60. I mean, they were just beautiful, beautiful coins that were thousands of years old. Coins that aren't shaped like coins as we expect them. Gold medallions are about 12 of them, like this big, from something, I don't know, 200 something BC. Lots of pottery, lots of just a lot of stuff in the museum. Artwork of all types. And again, I didn't have time to load a lot of pictures just because I was just so fascinated with what we were doing. At 11 o'clock, we did take a tour. That's our little tour guide, and she was just awesome. To me, the most spectacular part of the whole tour was the artwork, the paintings. That's something I know a little about. I mean, I'm not lost when I see a Monet. I'm not lost when I see a Degas or a Gainsworth or a Whistler. I think there was supposed to be a Picasso there, and I did not see that. Or at least if I saw it, I didn't recognize it as a Picasso. There's a couple Rembrandts. And then there's tons of painters that obviously, from the way their work was shown, are awesome artists that I just knew nothing about. It was just really, it was an incredible experience. All right, my time is almost up at the Gulbenkian Museum in Lisbon. And I'm not an art expert, not even an art follower. I'm not much of a museum goer, although that's going to change. But to be in the presence of such greatness, your senses are just overwhelmed. To be sitting here in front of a Monet, that's a Monet right behind us there, or a coin collection worth millions of dollars from, literally prehistoric times that are in absolutely, we'd call it today, mint condition. It was just amazing. The wonderful pottery, but to me, the paintings, that was unbelievable. So, the Gulbenkian Museum in Lisbon. Completely accessible and a wonderful stop. All right. That ends the talk about that. I'll be putting together a massive report for the website as soon as I can. I probably have 20 or 30 minutes worth of videos. I probably have 100 pictures, pictures of just some fabulous paintings and sculptures. And it was wonderful. I told Roger, this is probably in all my years of cruising in the 94 now cruises that I've been on. This is probably my one of my 3 best days. So it was fantastic. Just fantastic. All right. So we'll get to the news, folks, after a quick break from one of our fine network sponsors. All right. The top story comes from Norwegian. The top story after that, Norwegian Cruise Line will waive cancellation penalties for book guests impacted by the devastating Los Angeles fires. And a message to partners, John Chernesky, NCL's Senior Vice President, North American Sales, said he will waive fees for all scheduled January and February cruises. For those ultimately unable to travel, NCL will issue 100% future cruise credit. In a message to travel partners, John Chernesky, NCL Senior Vice President, said, that's a repeat of the same paragraph. I said he's going to do that. So it's really cool, folks, that, yes, he's doing something good. But at what expense? Now, who knows the truth of what happened with the money that we paid for the taxes and port charges? Maybe they took the money that we paid in taxes and port charges, and they're using that to give credit for the people that are affected by the fires. If they did that and announced that, said, look, folks, here's the situation with your taxes and port charges. It's only going to be $18 or $20. We're going to take that money and we're going to help the people in the fires. There wouldn't have been a soul to object to that, I bet you. That's not what they did. So did they get the money back? Did they not get the money back? Did they pay before or after? Who knows? Because the cruise lines just aren't honest with its guests anymore. It's not just Norwegian, folks. They all do it. And it sucks that they don't take their customers any better than that. Okay. The next story that has to do with the Carnival Cruise Line. And Guy's Burger, come on, tongue. Guy's Burger Joint, despite menu for pictures, photos circulating the online world, Carnival Cruise Line is not planning to expand Guy's Burger Joint into the breakfast business. Somebody even posted pictures of the new items that they're going to serve, and there are not any plans for them to go into the breakfast business. They want you to keep going to the buffet so they don't end up wasting all that food. So, anyway, no breakfast at Guy's Burger Joint. All right. Carnival Firenze. That's next story this morning. Carnival Cruise Line has made an itinerary change on the Carnival Firenze on one particular cruise in February of this year and in February of 2026 as well, that may be upsetting the sports fans. While the ship will still be sailing to the planned ports of call, the day of the port visits has been changed and will now conflict with the Super Bowl and Super Bowl Sunday on February 6th of 2025 and February 5th of 2026 departures. I don't blame them. If I was on a cruise on Super Bowl Sunday, I'd probably want to be where I can get to a TV and a bar and have some cocktails and watch this spectacular game. Hope that it's a spectacular game. Anyway. All right, so let's see. I guess I need to do a commercial now. So let's see. I got to find out where I put commercials. That's because this is a confusing setup for today.
Here's today's Zero Solo Supplement deal. Freedom of the Seas, a 7-night Eastern Caribbean cruise from Fort Lauderdale, sailing February the 16th, 2025. Double occupancy start at $893 per person. Solo cabins from $893. Just give me a call, 434-258-9264 on the Freedom of the Seas Zero Solo Supplement.
All right, this is a Norwegian breakaway. Unfortunately, we have to talk about another Norwegian ship. Norwegian Breakaways had to adjust its itinerary on the current voyage to make it back to its home port of Miami on time due to, let's wait for it, folks, technical issues that's impacting the ability of the ship to sail at maximum speeds. In other words, folks, the azipods are screwed up on the breakaway again. This is a second ship that comes to mind that's had multiple azipod issues over the last couple of years. Folks, get them fixed. Put them in dry dock and replace them or whatever you got to do. Goodness gracious. Anyway, so on the breakaway situation, it's the cancellation to Great Stirrup Key was weather related, had nothing to do with the azipods. The azipod issues could be a deal breaker, and it's not the first time breakaway has been affected. Issues caused problems several times in the past, plus the same problems presented themselves on multiple ships in the fleet. But this week, again, she had to cut her speed. One social media post reported that engineers have fixed the issue on the fly. We'll have to see on that one because the social media stuff just as easily could be wrong. And you people, if you hear it on social media, you think it's the Bible, it's take it to the bank. You need to start checking your sources. I'm finding out every day from multiple stories that I get here at Chili's Cruises desk are just totally false. That's ridiculous. All right. I really didn't mean to rant. However,
let's talk about Allianz travel insurance. That's what I use and have for years. Without travel insurance, you'll have to navigate every travel emergency on your own, whether it's that missing suitcase or a medical evacuation. With Allianz Travel Insurance, you have a dedicated team of travel and medical experts on your side. For more information, just give me a call, 434-258-9264, and we'll talk about an Allianz policy that fits your needs.
all right. So this is Liberty of the Seas rescue, which happened, I guess it was the day before yesterday. Roy, man, my tongue is really having trouble working today. Maybe I need an adult beverage. I haven't had one today. I did have one last night. I haven't had many on the show. Yes. All right. Royal Caribbean's Liberty of the Seas assisted the U.S. Coast Guard in rescue operation during rough seas. That was actually happened on last Thursday, so it's been a couple of days ago. While the cruise ship did not take an active role in the incident, it did provide essential, come on, words, essential nearby observation and was standing ready to move in if necessary. The incident took place east of Fort Lauderdale at 2 p.m. during Liberty of the Seas Day at Sea, the last day of a 4-night Bahama Perfect Day Coco Cay cruise. So, good for Liberty of the Seas. This is not the first time she's been involved in a rescue in any number of ways. But, they're there and they help whenever they can. So, good for them. That's awesome.
Experience Alaska at an affordable rate. VR1 balconies are only $1,289, including taxes and port charges. MSC Poesia sails from Seattle, May 25th, 2026. Book now. Call 434-258-9264 or go to bit.ly/Poesia Alaska 1.
I'll tell you one thing that's really weird, folks. I'm used to doing this show at 11 o'clock in the morning for most of you in the audience. Not for all of you. There are some people in Europe. But for most of you, it's 11 o'clock a.m. For us, it's 4 p.m. It's like we're getting ready to go to dinner. I'm getting ready to go to bed. It's really a strange phenomena for me being on European time. So tomorrow, where are we tomorrow? Tom Vigo? He's got his earphones on, so he's not listening. There's a delay. Where are we tomorrow, Tom?
Vigo, Spain.
Vigo, Spain tomorrow. And then the next day, we're in La Havre, France.
Wednesday, we're Sea Day.
Sea Day Wednesday. So that'll be good for the show. Thursday, we're in La Havre, France. And apparently, when we're in France, we lose another hour tonight. So we go from 5 to 6 hours difference.
We're time travelers.
I think, I don't know, one night we come back and then we change again. It's 4 now. It's going to be 5 tomorrow. No, it's 5 now. It's going to be 6 tomorrow. And then in France, it's going to be 6. In London, it's going to be 5. If you think I can keep up with that, you're wrong. So, anyway. All right, let's see who's in the chat room fussing at me today. If we've got any ex people, let's see. Oh, my goodness, we got 158 people in the house. Nice crowd. All right. There's Hot Air Tom says, hello, everyone, from the Norwegian Bliss in Lisbon. There's Kenneth. How's it feel to be on land? How many more days are you on the Bliss, Tom? So we were just running over it, Kenneth. What's it? 5 more, I think. I don't know. I can't keep track. I really didn't feel any different about being on land, quite frankly. I've enjoyed the sea. It was absolutely gorgeous this morning, even though it was cold. Hot Air Tom filming, coming into the harbor, the first sight of land, going under the bridge, and the amount of noise under that bridge was unbelievable. So I'm probably going to try to steal some of his stuff and use it, which I got to tell you, folks, Hot Air Tom's been doing a magnificent job filming on this cruise, filming me, doing stuff for me as well. So far has been allowing me to steal all his stuff and use it. But it's just great. But he did a great job this morning. Unfortunately, I had just gotten out of the shower because I was a little late getting up and a little groggy because I worked for about 4 hours during the night last night. And it was cold. And when I'm right out of the shower with wet hair, I didn't want to go out in 40 degrees. It's like I made it over to the window to the door once. He was out out on the balcony in these shorts filming
Underwear.
in his underwear. So, but anyway, so we'll show that. Maybe I can get some of that put together for Wednesday, because it was absolutely cool to see coming into Lisbon and the statue and a bunch of other highlights.
Chili, was the land steady for you? Because the walking I had to be careful because I was still doing this, and if I didn't watch the ground, I wasn't going to be.
I didn't notice it at all. Of course, I'm in the chair. I'm not walking. So maybe that makes a difference. I don't know. Yeah, what time is it there? It's 11:51, 12:51. 4:51, Kenneth. Hot air time says 3:57. He must have answered that a little bit ago. We have another hour tonight. Okay. So hot air Tom is saying the same things in the chat room that I just said. So that's funny having him in studio with me. Tomorrow is Vigo, Spain. Wednesday is Sea Day. Thursday is Le Havre. You spelled it wrong, but that's okay. The weather's cold. It was cold. Even this afternoon, it got up in the 50s. But if you were in the shade, it was cold. I didn't wear my coat. Because, one, I knew I was going to be inside most of the time, either in the van or in the museum. So I didn't take my heavy coat. It was right borderline where I needed it. But I'm glad I didn't, because it would have been a pain in the you-know-what. But anyway, it was a great day. Kenneth has another snowstorm coming, another 2 to 3 feet of snow. Oh, my goodness. Do the dogs like that snow? Probably do. They get out and romp in it. Hot air says, beautiful sunny day around 60. There's Joanne. Good morning, Joanne. Steve out in Kentucky. Good morning, Chili and everybody. Hope you and Tom are having a great time. We are. We're going to do going to a show tonight. My mind went blank. Rocket Man. I can't think. I'm getting old, folks. I'm getting senile. Anyway, we're going to do a show tonight, 7:30. Going to dinner and then do a show, which I've had time to do because my hours now are so totally different. Which I'm not used to it yet. So, Katie's with us. Good morning and evening. Yes, it is evening here. I'm in need of a drink. I haven't had a Bloody Mary on this trip, come to think about it. I had a chocolate martini, and then the next bar I asked for a chocolate martini, didn't have it, and I had a mudslide. And that was good too. Just doing a few things different. There's Cindy. Good morning, Cindy. Hot air says my feet are aching. I went to the spa for an hour pre-show and took my feet. Soaked my feet in the hot thermal pool. Don't blame you. There's Sunny. Says, good morning, everybody. Tom, was the Old Town tour, was the Old Town tour through the ship? He'll have to answer that. There's Bob. Good morning, all. Hope everyone had a great weekend. Hot air Tom says, Sunny. Yes, it was. Okay. I didn't know. NCL seems to not care about their customers. That's the way it seems to me, Joanne. I hate to say it, but especially this year, I've done a lot of sailing with NCL. Not nothing like Hot Air Tom. Hot Air Tom's an ambassador. That's got to carry some weight with these pools. And there's 16 ambassadors on this trip. Now, maybe they don't care. I mean, that's possible that they just, lay down and take whatever the cruise lines want to deal out. Well, I'm not going to do that. I don't expect Tom in his position as ambassador to stick his nose out and get in trouble either. But I'm going to fight it all the way. That's just
People
the way I
seem
am.
to think it's $5, so I waste $5 too quickly.
Well, I think it's more like $20. Now, again, it's not the money. It's the principle. And that's what I'm bound and determined to. I mean, if they give me the $20 back, I'll give it away. But still, it's the principle that I paid for something that I'm not going to get. And that's not right. So, in my book, there's certainly an argument just to, they did extra things for us for that, time. I don't buy that argument, but anyway. Todd says, good morning, everyone. Good morning, Tom. Kenneth says, Tom, you're ambassador. Let's take care of these problems. So when they have the ambassador meeting at the high end, put a word in. Yeah, absolutely. IMO. There's too many cruise ships now. Small ports tired of influx of 3,000 plus passengers onto their tiny towns. I don't blame them. I don't either. Larger ports tired of big ships' impact. I agree. And the cruise lines have brought a lot of this on themselves. They have overpolluted. They have over smokestacked towns. Now, are they heading in the right direction with that? Absolutely. The entire industry is miles better than it used to be. Are we there yet? Hell no. Even like with accessibility, there are still ships and lines that just don't give a damn about inclusive travel. They don't want people like me on their ships. I don't see it changing that, but we're sure working on it. One of these days, the ADA is going to demand cruise ships, publicly demand that cruise ships, if they want to sail from United States waters, they're going to be ADA compliant. They've started that process. It's going to be a slow process. I mean, the ADA has been around a lot of years, and we're still not where everything's the way it should be. We're better. There's a lot of us out there now that are trying to work and make it better for all of us. And folks, if you're perfectly healthy and perfectly ambulatory, God bless you. I'm thrilled to death that you're that way. But keep in mind, one day you'll get my age and my health. And if you want to do something other, lay at home and become a vegetable, then you've got to have some help. And that's what we're trying to do, to make it inclusive for everybody. Even down to the race cars on this ship. I was so excited to get up there just to see it. After 4 or 5 ships that I couldn't even get up to the track. That's not right. God forbid the day that they'd come up with a way that I could get in one of those cars and drive around. Now, it'd be difficult for me, admittedly. But somebody like Christy, I mean, she's done it. So, it's fabulous. Hats off to the Bliss for what they've done. I'm very impressed with the Bliss after the horrible embarkation. Today, getting on and off, it was a little, there's only one tube passageway. It's got the ramps and stuff. It's not as bad as some that I've done. But coming back on the ship, now we went off early, so we were getting back on the ship in that 115, 120-ish era. So we were, going up the slope in the tube thingy, okay, as all the people were coming off for the afternoon excursions. And I had to wait on a slope to the point that I couldn't hold the chair any longer. And I had to have people move out of my way so I could get up to a level spot, because there's still probably a couple hundred people coming out, and they weren't letting any of us coming up go on. So you're feeding from both sides. Little things like that need to be worked on, or come up with a second way on and off the ship. Yeah, that would be even better. So now let me turn. That's a phone call coming in. I'm not going to answer it. Anyway, so that's was a little bit of a dicey thing, but other than that, getting off and on through customs, all that stuff, it was a piece of cake. I like Lisbon a lot. Lisbon is a typical European style city. It's older than many of us are used to in America. Obviously, the buildings have been around a lot longer. They're very narrow streets. You see it in every European city that I've been in. And that's not going to change. And that, to me, is part of the thrill of Europe. And I don't care where you are. And there's places in Europe that I haven't been, but I've seen enough pictures to know that there's a look and a feel to European cities that's just totally different than we have in the States. Some people might not like that. I happen to like it. I like it. I find it refreshing to be around the culture and history that you're around in Europe. To do things like I did today at that museum, which is totally out of character for me. And I can't tell you how thrilled I was to do that today. Anyway, Sandra Horn is with us. Burger King delivers Miami-Dade County. Okay. By the time it gets to England, it would be inedible. Okay. All right. So that was a humorous thing. Yeah, it wouldn't be worth a damn by the time it gets over here. That's funny. That's a good one, Sandra. Thank you. Chili, you look good. You sound great. I feel good. I mean, it's being with Hot Air Tom. Yeah, that's helped. It's nice having somebody that will help out and do some things to make my life a little easier. I mean, it's still, I'm a pain in the ass. I realize that. And he's sticking his thumb up. He's going to stick his thumb up, but never mind. But yeah, it's, we've been together now. Well, we were together for 10 or 11 days before Christmas. And now this is 10 days or so far on this trip. I haven't strangled him and he hasn't kicked me out. So that's a pretty good deal. And we're having fun. So what the hell? We've done a lot of laughing too. So Sandra says, you don't know me. No, I don't, but welcome aboard. This is a travel and cruise news space. We talk about cruising. We talk about travel. I broadcast this show from wherever I am in the world. I happen to be in Lisbon, Portugal today. I'll be in Spain tomorrow. So the next, I don't know, 3 or 4 weeks, I'll be over here, back home for a while, and then I'm coming back to Europe again later in the spring. Put me on pause. I don't see any reason to put you on pause. Kenna says, Chili, that's great. You have your own butler on board. Well, I wouldn't go that far. I love to see new cruisers, see new cruisers' eyes at La Bistro when a bowl of mushrooms is put on the table without the soup. I knew it was coming. But yeah, that's a bit of a surprise. A bit of a surprising taste too. It was good soup. I liked it. But oh my God, that steak was to die for. There's Cindy. Always get the filet at Bistro. Always delicious. I agree. So does Sonny.
Did you tell them what we're doing tonight after dinner?
What are we doing tonight after dinner, Tom?
We're going to the theater to see who? Elton John.
Elton
tribute.
John. There we go. I had the mind blank out. So anyway, we're doing that. Sonny says, please hit the thumbs up button. Thank you, Sonny. I haven't gotten around to that yet. Oh, look. Cute, tiny humans at the museum. Yeah, it was
Naked.
Man.
He's looking at naked ones.
I had some naked ones too. Yeah, some great stories. The statue of Diana, who was a huntress and was naked. It was quite a controversy because only whoever the two first naked statues were the only ones that were naked. Aphrodite and I don't know. I'm not the statue person. So anyway, when this Diana thing was revealed, it caused all kinds of stir because she wasn't one of the big, and there she was naked for everybody to see. Man, it was a good story. A lot of good stories in that museum today. That's a great stop, honest to goodness. Asher Laurent says, hey, how are you doing? I'm doing great. Katie says, I'm hopping on Utopia of the Seas this weekend. Oh, Katie, gonna have to put you to work. Man, we ought to do a live stream. Ship to ship live stream. I still think that would be fun. If we can get the signals, well, you get on and I'll be getting off. So I might have to do a ship to hotel room live stream. But yeah, I wouldn't mind doing an interview with Katie from Utopia. I've not interviewed anybody from Utopia.
Is Angela going?
Yes, is Angela going too? I'm sure she is. I don't think Katie ever goes without Angela. Well, looky there. Emily came. She's only an hour and 45 minutes late. How long have I been on the air? Oh, my goodness. I'm in an hour and 10 minutes. I can get going. Great show today. Thank you, Todd. And thanks. Emily says thanks to Katie. Wow, I did not realize that I'd gone 10 minutes over today, folks. That's going to wrap it up for today. Again, I'll be back on Wednesday. I'll probably have some more stuff from here and maybe some stuff from Vigo, some stuff from the ship. Who knows? Another interview, possible too. So anyway, that's it for today. As always, guys, I'm living the dream. Stay safe, stay healthy, think about cruising. Hopefully one day soon we'll all get together on the high seas. Have a great day, everybody. I'll see you back here on Wednesday. Later, y'all.
I regularly post videos on all facets of the travel and cruise industry. So if you like to keep up with the latest in cruise ships, ports of call, cruises themselves, chilly chats, and travel and cruise industry news, just hit the little subscribe button in the lower right-hand corner, hit the bell notification so you'll be notified when a new video is up or we go live. This video was produced by Chili's Cruises.